What's happening? What's going on, everyone? Pardon My Presence YouTube channel. I want to do a discussion here about Dr. Boyce Watkins. Okay, now a lot of people give Dr. Boyce Watkins a lot of slack. They call him a lot of names. They ridicule him online. Currently, they're getting at him. Why? Because of what he puts out on his page. A lot of the times, it's the tweets he puts out there about black love and what black men should be doing and putting black women on a pedestal. A lot of people have a problem with that. But why? Why should people have a problem with that? Here's the thing. In this current era that we're in right now, I won't even say era. We'll look at the YouTube space that we're in right now. The trending thing in certain areas in YouTube. You have the Kevin Samuels movement. You have the Save Yourselves Black Men movement. You have the MGTOW movement. You have the Black Manosphere movement. You have a whole bunch of different movements out there that are pretty much pushing this ideology that men and women don't mix. Men and women should be separated. Men should not fall prey to these women, these modern day femme fatales, if you want to call them that. Men should not simp. Men should go on their own way and work on themselves and to put all of their energy, time, and resources into their own being and their own life. Okay? But there's something I want to point out to you. Because a lot of times people look at Dr. Boyce Watkins and again, they call him a sucker. They call him a sucker. They made fun of him with his most recent picture of his beautiful wife that he married, Dr. Alicia. This picture is of his new wife in her wedding gown, holding hands with Dr. Boyce Watkins, who looks pretty awkward in one side of her. And on the other side is the rapper from the Geto Boys, Willie D. And she's looking at him, standing closer to him, almost stargazing. And a lot of people made fun of that particular picture and that image. And a lot of people said a lot of crazy things about this newlywed couple. A lot of people. Now, there's a couple things I want to point out to you. Like I said, Dr. Boyce Watkins, whatever you want to call him, you want to call him a sucker, you want to call him a simp, all those different things. One thing that you're going to have to call him as well, too, is an adult. An adult black man doing adult things. Doing the responsible things. Now again, in the face of the Kevin Samuels rise to fame with his 1 million subscribers, Dr. Boyce Watkins has been taking subtle jabs at the whole manosphere, at the whole movement. And he's been putting up pictures of his marriage, his wedding, pictures of him and his wife holding hands, kissing, him leaving comments about this black woman makes me and this black woman is a part of me. I would be nowhere without this black woman. I understand what he's doing. Look, cut the bullshit, Dr. Boyce Watkins. I know what you're doing. You're trying to normalize black love, black marriage, black family, and all that. I'm there for. I'm fine with it. I understand. I get it. But a lot of people aren't getting it. A lot of people are resisting his points. A lot of people are calling those messages simp behavior. When was it simp to marry a black woman? When was it simp to be responsible for a family? When has it been simp to be an adult? And you had a lot of people making comments saying how, oh boys, you picked a woman that chose you last. Because apparently this same woman that he married has other kids from a previous relationship or a previous marriage. And apparently he met the woman first back in college. and she was always the love of his life, but it didn't work out because she had eyes for somebody else. And then how many years afterwards they came back together and they rekindled whatever flame they had and they got married. So people are looking at Boyce like he's a simp, he's a sucker because he wasn't the first choice. He was the last choice. But here's what I want to say to that in response to that. What is wrong with being a woman's last choice? Because in this particular situation, it would mean that she's not choosing anyone else after Boyce. And unless you're into virgins, you won't want to be a woman's first choice. So in other words, all these other men who are cracking jokes at Boyce Watkins' expense, none of them are women's first choice, and none of them are women's last choice. So in other words, you're just a number. And people seem to be happy with that. People don't understand what they're actually saying. And the funny thing is this, there's a stat, and I don't know how true it is, but this is what they're saying. They're saying that only 20% of men are having sex with women. Only 20%. That means 80% of men are not having sex. Now you could chalk it up to men being incels. You could chalk it up to women being on their own shit and they're not even looking to hang around men. Women not even being agreeable or being open to having relations with men or relationships with men. You could attack the woman for that. But here's what I want to point out here. If it's that much of an overwhelming majority where 80% of men are not having sex with women, doesn't that tell you that majority of those men are in the wrong place? Have the wrong mindset? Are approaching things the wrong way? They are where they shouldn't be? Maybe those men who are struggling to have sex on a regular occasion as a single man, maybe it's because they're out of place. Maybe it's because they're the ones who are supposed to find a wife. Not everyone could be a player. Not everyone could be a pimp. Not everyone could be a gallus. Some men have to come to that realization that you might be a square. You might be one of those ruler-ass people who walk that line. You might be one of those people that need to have a wife. And there's nothing wrong with that. And when you look at Boyce Watkins, you look at his pictures, his poses, his smiles, the way how he talks, the way how he thinks, he's not a gallus. He's one of those men that need to have a wife. So please, before you attack him, before you laugh at him, before you ridicule him, before you make these comments about how, oh, I thought this was a financial channel. Why is he talking about his relationship and his marriage? Think about this. At least Boyce Watkins knows his place. Because there are 80% of us men who don't know theirs. Who are at the nightclubs, going home, empty-handed. Putting something in their hand later on that night. Because they don't have any other options. You have men who are waiting for that text back. That never comes. Because they can't get women to cooperate with them. And I feel bad for it because you have these men who don't know who they are. So before you laugh at Boyce Watkins, at least he knows. He knows who he is. And there's nothing wrong with Men becoming husbands, becoming stepfathers, becoming guys who have to wear a tie to go to work, guys who have pocket protectors, guys who wear glasses. There's a place for all of us, because we are not all alpha males. We are not all beta males. We are not all professional athletes. We are not all the cool kids. Know your role. Know your position and play it well. Because every position is important. That's one thing about football. You learn that every position has its purpose on the field. They have certain duties that they have to fulfill. And if one chain or one link in that chain is weak, the whole team could fall apart. The whole offensive lineman could fall apart. The offensive line. You have a shitty offensive line, your running back won't get the yards. Your quarterback won't have enough time to throw it to your star wide receiver. If you don't have a star wide receiver, your quarterback means nothing. No matter how far you could throw it, there's no one's going to catch it. Everybody has a position to play. And people like Boyce Watkins, they have their position too. So let's not ridicule people like him. Let's prop them up and salute them for understanding who they are, knowing their purpose, and fulfilling their role. Because like I said, not everybody's a player. Do you know your role in this life, in society, in your house? Can you accept it? These are the things that I want you to think about. Because these are the things that have those 80% of men wandering around here online, angry and sexless. Because they don't want to fall in line with who they truly are. That's my word of the day. You let me know how you feel about this. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until next time, Pardon My Presence YouTube channel. May your next move be your best move. Until next time, peace.